So what is a business capability model? A business capability model is a model of what an organization does. It deliberately ignores how it does it and who does it, because those two things are far too changeable. Okay, how in Toyota, for example, revisits every process every month looking for opportunities for improvement as part of their core philosophy. So every process are constantly changing. Who is even worse. I mean, who lives in an organization that doesn't restructure itself every 3 or 4 months in reaction to anything? Org structures are even more volatile. But what an organization does is quite stable over time. Okay? And that makes it incredibly useful for overlaying technology changes over time, because we can start to see it. It's meter data management. Meter data management, which we all know, managing the data from our electricity meters, as a concept, as a capability, would have existed for the last 60 years and will probably exist for another 50, because managing data from the meters is what an electricity distribution company does. Okay? But how they do that has changed beyond recognition over 30 years, 50, 60 years. Pieces of paper, going out to now, in the future, smart grid, the meters will remotely send it home over the wireless internet back to home base, if you like. So that enables you to show those changes over time and map them out using a stable model of the business. But more fundamentally than that, it allows you to align your technology to the business. Okay, we're now not talking to the business anymore about Siebel and SAP and eSuite and yada yada. We're going to them, talking to them in language they understand. Let's go and talk about your customer relationship management problems. Let's talk about supply chain. Let's go and talk to you about product manufacture. Let's go and talk to you about credit risk management. We're now talking in a language the business will talk to us in. Forrester famously wrote a paper about 4 years ago saying business capability modeling, the Rosetta Stone moment for enterprise architecture, where it'll finally get a seat at the business strategy table. And that's been our experience. It changes the entire engagement between enterprise architects and the business as soon as you come with them and start talking about capabilities and not IT systems. You're talking about their business function and what you're going to do to help their business. For those who've been around a long time in IT, this has its origins. Actually, if I really want to be historic about it, you can trace this right back to the design of the original Ford factory, and then through methods engineering. My father-in-law was a methods engineer through the 50s. That's disappeared as a concept, but they were huge. There were millions of them working for a long period of time, and that's an important concept. Then went into functional decomposition in the 80s in IT, component-based development in the 90s. Nothing new in this world, just improvement and revolution. Unfortunately, in the 2000s in IT, we decided to abandon it completely. We just thought, we've got an ESB now. We've got a few of these other new down tools. We've got Java. We've got the internet. We don't need to worry about design anymore, because the coding will all look after itself. We've made our bed and we're going to lie in it now. And this is where the level of rigor that you apply to a business capability model becomes critical. Okay, if you want to use a business capability model, there are two things it could be used for. Okay, let's generically talk about a capability model. It can be used for what we call business consulting. High-level strategic analysis of an organization, ensuring they're spending their right money in their right places, making sure it's an input to the investment and prioritization process. If you like, the business consulting use of a business capability model. All of the major players all use capability models for that, usually from their business consulting arms. Business consulting services would use their capability model to sit down with an organization, have conversations about where they should be spending their money, where their competitive advantage lies, and those type of things. And we use it for that purpose as well. In fact, one of the first things that won Jamie McPhee, the Adelaide Bank former CEO, over to our whole approach, and then when he left to come down to CEO of ME Bank, asked us to come down there with them, was a simple 2 overlays I did in the business capability model. A competitive advantage heat map that said, these are the capabilities where you should be above market, because they're core to Adelaide's competitive advantage and strategy. These are the capabilities where it's okay to be in market, and actually these capabilities, we don't care if we're worse than our competitors, we can be below market. And I then overlaid his IT spend for the previous 5 years. He went, Jesus, what are we doing? We're spending money everywhere except for where our core competitive advantage is. This is just insane. Now that simple heat map immediately won Jamie over to the whole concept of enterprise architecture. So that's that business consulting arm. But if you want to use it for what we would call deep architecture, resolving these questions of service granularity and determining where they should sit, there's an infinite more rigor that needs to be applied to the model. Okay? There's a whole pile of concepts that need to be brought to bear to develop a business capability model that aren't necessary for simple business consulting, but are absolutely mandatory if it's to be used for determining service containers and deep architecture design. Okay.